Today's video is about procrastination, that nagging feeling when you know you're vacillating between chilling on the couch or being activated. When you activated, the creative act is waiting for you to overcome the fear that has been showing the cracks. The world really needs your art. I'm gonna help you get on track. You realize your potential, it's as simple as that. Procrastination is a trap and it's holding you back. It's like that. Hello, creative person. You are not alone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Josh, also known as Fruit Vendor, and I talk all about creative topics to help you live a fuller creator life. So needless to say, I know a lot of creative people, and I asked a whole lot of them what they think their biggest challenge is when it comes to their creative expression, and a lot of them are dealing with, you guessed it, procrastination. Artist 1, who is a painter, says, I'm great at ideas, shocking at setting things through, and worse at finishing a task, often because of a low self-image and being too afraid of even putting it out there. Artist 2, who is a beat maker, says, I actually need to just master the stuff and release it and forget about it and create new things. Been lacking confidence in releasing, so I just sit with the stuff. I think it has to do with success or not and how I view it. If you go back to why you love this thing in the first place and you're wondering why you're not completing projects or why you're not shipping as much as you'd like, you're trying to get this work out there, you're trying to complete stuff, it often always comes back down to fear. There's something that you're afraid of inside of that process. Fear has to do with punishment, and punishment has to do with consequences or making mistakes and then dealing with consequences as a result of. So a lot of us are running this program in our minds of, like, if I do this thing incorrectly, I'm going to reap negative consequences. I'm going to experience some kind of pain. So we'd rather put this thing off. We'd rather not address the elephant in the room and pretend it's not there and then carry on with our cognitive dissonance, this low-level anxiety that we experience when we're not doing what we're supposed to do, when we're not following the call to create more beautiful art, because that's really what it's about. And you'll experience that incongruency when what you're doing in the moment isn't aligned with what you should be doing. And many artists know what we should be doing. We know that we should be making more art. We know that we should be spending a lot of our time doing this thing, even if it's just a hobby, but yet we're feeling this apprehension. The outside expectations of your identity as related to your art is what's causing you to experience all of this panic, anxiety, and therefore procrastination. So here's what Rick Rubin has to say about it in his book, The Creative Act. Concerns about releasing a work into the world may be rooted in deeper anxieties. It could be a fear of being judged, misunderstood, ignored, or disliked. Will more ideas come? Will they ever be this good again? Will anyone even care? I know I felt like that a lot of times. Part of the process of letting go is releasing any thoughts of how you or your piece will be received. Let's not consider how a piece will be received or our release strategy until the work is finished and we love it. So there's that whole thing again about love. If you really love it and you're really convinced that this is the purest form of art that you can make and that you pretty much put everything into it to make it the best that it is, find a way to put it out into the world. We should not expect validation from anyone at this stage. What we're trying to do is we're just trying to continue making work so that the love that we have for the thing will beget more items that are reflective of our love for the thing. But the funny thing is with procrastination, fear creates a feedback loop. So the more you procrastinate, the more you put it off, the less stuff you create, the more bad you feel about it, the more shame you feel about the fact that you are now not doing what you're supposed to do. And add to that, if you are someone who's doom scrolling and you're on Instagram and you're constantly comparing yourself to those people who are posting all the time the best highlight reel of their life, you're going to feel even worse about that. You're going to feel even worse about yourself. You're going to feel like you are lower than pond scum. So this fear feedback loop creates more fear and more internal havoc. It starts to wreak internal havoc on who you are on the inside. Suddenly it becomes about your identity, when in essence it was never about that in the first place. It was always about creating the work. It was all about making stuff that you think is awesome, that you love, that you are enthralled by. And I've needed to teach myself that it's not about the outcomes. It's not about what anyone is actually going to say about it. I'm not seeking anyone's validation yet. It is nice when people like and comment and give encouragement, but I've made a personal commitment that I'm going to continue doing this because at its essence, I love it. And because I love it so much, there's no room for fear. So my question to you is, what is the root cause behind the fear that is causing your procrastination? If you can pinpoint what that is, at least then you can come up with an action plan to help yourself deal with that. For me, there's really just been one solution that I keep running towards whenever I experience fear when it comes to new things. I try to lower the stakes somehow. I try to make it resemble my initial feelings about art and creativity. I try to go back in my mind to when I was a child, when everything was fun. So whenever I experience these fear symptoms, I try to make it into a game so that I'm playing against myself, but not against the world, not against other artists, not against what's happening out there in the macro world, in the multiverse or whatever. I try to make it so small and so bite-sized and so much fun so that it resembles a video game. Now, if you grew up playing video games like I did, and I did a lot of video game playing as a child, in a video game, you are expected to win. The game developers want you to win. They give you just enough challenges to make it a little bit difficult, but not so much that you completely give up and throw in the towels. You are expected to win, and you can die as many times as possible, and you can respawn as many times as possible. So a story from my life is that I'm a singer-songwriter, love songwriting, and I love performing. Something that I needed to do early on was I felt that I needed more experience as a live performer as a way to find a platform in the live performance space in the music industry for my original works. I knew that I needed to go out there and start putting myself in the public eye by booking gigs as a solo performer. And I knew that in order to overcome this fear, I needed to figure out a way to do many performances in quick succession, one after another, as fast as humanly possible. And how I did that was I decided I'm going to commit to playing this little game with myself. The game that I'm going to play is I'm going to book one performance a week for a year. And that was 12 years ago. I created a little spreadsheet, pre-populated it with some details about the name of the events, where I'd be playing, who I'd be playing for, who the other artists are, in what area it was, how many people were there, all of the stuff. And my commitment to myself was just play one performance a week. It didn't matter where you perform. It didn't matter whether they paid me or not. This was all a complete labor of love, and it was completely gamified. And at the end of that year, I'd accumulated 172 performances. I still have the spreadsheet, because what ended up happening was I ended up overbooking myself. The more I started performing out in the public space, the more other people would then try to book me for events that they were hosting. I was playing clubs, bars, restaurants, weddings, churches, nursery schools. Did a lot of festival performances as a child entertainer as well. And on many days, I'd be doing like 3 performances a day. I'd be performing 4 shows on a weekend. And I was also playing as an accompanist with other artists. So I was getting booked professionally as a session musician at the same time. The net result of this is that eventually I built the muscle, I built the confidence, because your fear often is rooted in the fact that you've never done the thing that you want to do. You don't know anything that you don't know. The only way to know if you are walking the path, or if you're certain about the path that you're walking on, is to do the stuff that's associated with the path that you're on. You can't measure the success of something if you haven't even tried to do anything. And this is why procrastination is such a bad space to be in, because it takes you out of the game before you even start. Like before you even have any skin in the game, you're already out. You're already disqualified. I noticed that because this first year of performing was such a success, I carried that over to the next year as well. And I also performed over 100 performances the next year. In that space of that 2-year period, I was a professional performing artist, to the point that today when I go out and I get booked and I perform, I feel like that's my domain. I feel complete confidence in a space like that. As long as I know that I've prepared enough and that I've put in the effort, the feelings of fun have remained. I still enjoy it. It's still a treat for me. I continue doing it because, again, I love it. So I would challenge you in the area where you're experiencing this procrastination, where you're feeling these debilitating feelings of paralysis, like you're not doing the thing that you want to do. Chop it down into a very measurable piece, a very measurable size. Make it into a little game. Make it fun, because in a game world, you always win. Even if it looks like you're losing, if you just keep repeating, eventually you'll build the muscle, you'll build the confidence to feel as though the stuff that you've done has qualified you to continue making more of it. The guy who is having fun, who has learned that it's all about love and that perfect love drives out all fear, there's no room for fear, that person is always going to succeed regardless of what success means. Keep going. You've got this. Make it fun and do what you must. Dala what you must, Masakan. Now that you know how to overcome your fear, it's been staring in your face. I hope your vision is clear, because it's clear to me that you've been clear to be everything that the Creator has predestined you to be. This video's presently working presciently to impress upon your art that it's a pressing need. So press that subscribe and won't you hit the like button and join the discussion in the comments below. Your art is your fruit. Share it.